Hello, I'm Rupert Turton, and welcome to the Business Spotlight interview, where we talk to local business owners about their journey. This week, I'm joined by Philip Kelly from Fil Refill. To be honest, Phil, the best thing to do is just to let you explain what you do, because I think it's really quite revolutionary.
Thanks, Rupert, and hello. So we make closed loop refillable cleaning, laundry, and things like and personal care. So things like body wash, shampoo, conditioner, everything that you generally would have at home, usually in single-use plastic. We provide it in a refillable format, and we take control basically of the packaging by offering our customers or our stockists or businesses, anyone that wants to use those kind of products, the opportunity to send them back, or we collect them and we wash them at our facilities and refill them. And that's it, really. It's a pretty simple idea.
Yeah,
It's much more complicated to actually do.
yeah. But the concept's fantastic, isn't it? I think, it's obviously it's ecologically more sound than most of the current solutions. You're taking the effort away from the consumers, your customers. So I mean, it's quite a revolutionary business you've got going.
Yeah, and I think it's founded on the idea that we recycling, well, in the UK, but pretty much everywhere else is fundamentally flawed or not as developed as we've been led to believe. So it's kind of the idea of taking responsibility for that and not basically not allowing that to happen by most of the containers that we use every day are perfectly fit to be reused again and again. So
Mm.
it's basically we've m- you know we've sort of solidified that concept and tried to make a product that is attractive so that it doesn't feel like a compromise.
Yeah. So what have been the biggest issues that you've had to overcome?
Well, there's so many, and so many that we're still trying to overcome. Obviously, just you know, uh, the idea that people need to recognise, I guess, that there is an issue in the first place with single-use
Mhm.
plastic, because it's so convenient. It's such a wonderful material in that it made products affordable and convenient, and it's lightweight, and it's all of the properties that it has. It's basically understanding that there are a lot of issues associated with its ultimate end of life. So yeah, I mean, consumer behavior is something that's difficult for us, but then just the sort of logistics and process of deciding to do something like this, it's taken a long time. We obviously had to make a lot of mistakes, and we're still making mistakes along the way,
Yeah.
setting up wash facilities when there's no real precedent other than the milkman, milk person. There's nothing really that we could look to and go, oh yeah, we need to do it like that. So but that's the kind of stuff that I find exciting, trying to do things that haven't been done before.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually, yeah, making the mistakes,
Yeah,
learning, trying again. I think that's a really important point you've made there as well.
yeah.
So what's is your biggest learning, your personal biggest learning since you've been a business owner then?
Well, I before I started the idea of Fil Refill, and when I was a bit younger, I was the manager of a band.
Hmm.
And I think managing a company is pretty similar, in that you're trying to galvanize the group itself, the group of people that you're managing, but also the message that you send to your audience
Yeah,
it has got to be coherent. It's got to be something that people believe in and kind of want to get behind, basically.
yeah.
So I feel like that is my constant challenge. So it's not only the culture of the business or the group, but it's also having a sort of consistent and coherent message that everyone else understands too.
So how do you set about then putting that coherent message in place within the business? Because it's, as you say, two directions, to your customer base and to the
Yeah.
business itself. So you must have a fairly strong way of doing that.
Yeah, so it's about being very clear. I mean, I'm probably quite boring internally. Like I've been going on about the need to eliminate certain single-use plastic and change our behaviors and do things that aren't necessarily the most profitable for a long time. And that when you've got people that have have been in your business for a while, it can cause some anxiety, because
Mm.
people obviously, um, yeah, I don't know if there's there is this idea that you're sort of a hippie, and you're not commercially minded, or all of that kind of thing. So you have to establish that credibility that you know what you're doing, and you know that you're doing the right thing, for the people that work for you, and also for the business itself. So yeah, I mean, that is a challenge, but also, yeah, you do have to lay out why you're doing the things that you're doing, and get people behind you, and that just takes time, and being consistent, and explaining, and rationalizing all your decisions and everything
Yeah.
else.
So it's quite interesting as well. So looking at your website, and now having
Mm,
spoken to you, you've
yeah.
obviously quite a, I think quirky is the word that I'd use for the for the way you present the business. Does that reflected in the culture that you have inside the business as well?
I'd like it to be. So yeah, I mean, I think you do have to market yourself internally as well, and I think it's really good to have a strong identity as a brand, and as any person in business, I guess. Um, I mean, I can't take the credit for the design of the website, although I can take the credit for the tone, I guess, and
Yeah.
a lot of the ideas behind it. But we have an amazing illustrator, Eleonora Marton, who does all the artwork for us, and that's one of the things that I think does set us apart, because we've got one person she's our sort of head of creative, and she consistently brands everything that we do. So it doesn't feel like it's been done by an agency or a group of people. It's got that kind of quite organic, homemade feel, and a lot of the artwork and illustrations are made by her, basically.
Yeah.
um yeah, I think it's good to, like, we deliberately don't look around at what other people are doing in our. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but if you want to have an identity that's genuine, and I feel like you do need to, then you just make something that, if you think it's cool, and it's a message that you're convinced is the right one, then generally, not always, but and I think we've been lucky. Other people have related to it well, and yeah, have kind of come along for the ride.
Yeah. And I suppose the in defining your position in the marketplace, you need to stand out from the rest of the market as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So actually having looked at your identity, to anyone watching this video, I would say go and have a look at the website, because the visuals on it are just great. And but it does differentiate you from all other businesses, which is, I think, really important as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. We've probably broken a lot of rules. I mean, we write in capital letters. We don't use any color. We don't use that many photographs.
Yeah,
That
true.
we
Yeah.
like we've
Yeah.
broken so many rules. But I think by breaking the rules, we've sort of redefined. And I feel like we give. We don't patronize our customers. Basically, it's all there for people to sort of find and discover. And I guess it's a language that we're trying to create for
Mm,
around zero waste, where refill is kind of front and center of that.
yeah.
And yeah, hopefully people feel that is, it's authentic, basically.
So what are your aspirations for the company in the next 5 years?
Oh, so many. I mean, we're trying to reduce our impact.
Hmm.
So rationalizing that against any plans for growth is very difficult. um, we're trying to make better products. We're trying
Yeah.
to find better logistics solutions, better packaging solutions. It's basically challenging what we do. So we're probably our toughest critic. I know I definitely am, because
Yeah.
that's it. If I can basically be comfortable that we're doing the best thing that we can possibly do, then that's success. And I strongly believe that if you do something well, and the businesses that I admire the most are the ones that are solving a problem and doing it the best they can. I
Yeah.
believe that people will find you and support you, and yeah, you'll find a way to keep doing what you do, basically.
Yes. Okay. So what would you say to anybody thinking of going into business for themselves?
Oh, yeah, you have to really believe in what you're doing. It's not something
Mm,
you can. It's not for the faint-hearted. You know, it's yeah. I, but I think you also had to be prepared to change things. You know, it's
Mhm.
not you. I mean, it's all very well. We've done countless sort of strategies and plans and ripped it all up and started again. And you know, opportunities arise, and you have to, you know, change if they're sort of taking you in the right direction.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's sort of being open-minded but also driven.
yeah, yeah. No battle plan survives the first engagement with the enemy.
That's right, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So it's well, the belief in what you're doing, the resilience to keep going, and the
Yeah,
ability to change as circumstances change around you.
yeah, yeah, and not to panic, you know, because we've had a lot of instances through the pandemic where,
Yeah,
you know, we've really had to sort of hold our nerve you know, I'm convinced that, you know, our slogan is "Single use is over." I'm
yeah,
convinced that there is a huge place, because there has to be a huge place for refill in all of its forms. There's
yeah,
loads of other businesses trying to tackle the problem, but I do feel like there's a place for the way in which we've gone about trying to solve the problem.
yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Completely different tack then, Phil.
Yeah.
Who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
Oh my word. Huh. It's probably nothing to do with business. If I
That doesn't
picture
have
the
to be, does
idea of
it? No, no.
success,
It's I deliberately kept it as an open question as
yeah.
well.
Um, I mean, you know, I'm a devoted like family man. I mean, my vision of success is just, you know, be, being at home with my kids and being
Yeah,
happy. You know, that's it. You know, it's pretty simple. I don't actually the sort of conventional model of success. I don't really buy into.
yeah. So, what's your measure of success then?
Contentment, contentment in whatever, you know, however you define it.
Yeah,
You know, for me, it's sitting in the garden with my son. You know, that's when, you know, everything I do is basically to enable me to have that time.
yeah. And it's interesting, actually. You seem a little because not every business owner that we talk to is motivated by money. It often
Mm,
is the other things that surround it. So it's
mm,
it's the uh, well, obviously, as you just described, it's having time to do the things that you want to do. It's doing the
yes,
right thing, not necessarily doing the most profitable thing. It's not being
absolutely.
managed by the balance sheet, isn't it? So yeah, no, excellent. Yeah, but no one person springs to mind.
Ah, gosh, I mean, you know, a lot of artists and stuff, you know, people that are really pursuing their passion, you know, if
Yeah,
I if I if I think about, yeah, I mean, you know, someone that is able to paint, um, and make a living from it, doing something that they're really passionate about, and I would
yeah,
class myself in that category.
yeah,
You know, I'm doing something I'm passionate about, and I'm making a living from it, just about.
yeah,
So it's, I guess it's that simple, really. It
yeah,
sounds a little bit naive, because I'm aware of the economics and what we all need to do.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Okay, cool. Phil, been lovely talking to you, and also really fascinating business you've had. Having a look at the website and just doing a little bit of background before we recorded this. So thanks for your time today. Really appreciated.
pleasure. Thank you.
If anyone wants to have a look at what you're doing, Phil and Refill, how do they contact you?
They can find us on Instagram. It's at Phil_co. The website is philrefill.co.
Hmm.
Or just mail us hello@philrefill.co, or I'm Phil@philrefill.co.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent. Phil, thanks for your time today. It's been great talking to you.
Cheers. Pleasure. Thanks, Rupert.
Cheers.